Okay, Jeff, little video at the end of our session, mate, so we'll just make these graphs a little bit bigger. So there's a line through the club. So this was your one at the start, right? So what we basically said was you're not loading under the trail foot to start the swing, right? You can see how there's a little bit of pushing down under your trail foot, but you never get the majority of the pressure under the trail foot during the start of the swing, right? You actually get it. It's a little bit of pushing down, and then you only really start to push down under your trail foot once you get to the top of the swing, and then you push down under the trail foot more as you start the swing. Look, so that kind of maxes out under your trail foot there, and even to the point where there's hardly any pressure under your left foot, your lead foot. And then you start pushing down under your lead foot, and you don't max out with the pushing out under your lead foot until about that point, which is actually past P6, right? Which is just way too late to get any speed and to get any power, right? The pros are hitting that peak going up, that white peak. Right about there, when the shaft gets about vertical on the way down, right? Left arm parallel with the ground, shaft vertical, whatever position 5, whatever position you want to call it. That's when the pros are kind of pushing down that left foot the most, and that's where you see that white peak. So you're just a little late until you get to that white peak. So we need a drill to get us working in a way which is similar to what the pros do, right? So this one on the right, what we started doing was the step drill. So we just bring both feet to the right of that stick on the ground, right? And then what we're looking to do is stamp that left foot down there, right? And then start really pushing down under that left foot early in the downswing, right? So you can see there, right about there. So already, just after you stamp the foot down and you start your downswing, we've now got 84% of the pressure in our left foot, right? Whereas at that point in your old swing, right, half an hour ago there, you've got 90% of the pressure under your trail foot, under your right foot, right? And then, of course, the knock-on effect of that, if I just make those a little bit smaller, the knock-on effect of that is then how you come down and the position you get to impact, and you follow through. So there's your position at impact, right? Heel still on the ground, hips are still pretty square, shoulders are still pretty square, whereas the dynamics of the movement are better now, right? Because you're using the ground better. And then as you come down, now I know it's only a practice drill, but you can see your heels more off the ground, your hips are cleared more, your shoulders are cleared more, right? Hips are a little bit better than that. Hips are more open, shoulders are there, heels off the ground, right? So you look at that position at impact, and you see how that position then makes the club come out underneath your left shoulder, whereas this one, the shaft would be coming out sort of through just above the left shoulder, right? So here you've got the shaft coming out underneath your left shoulder because you've cleared out the way. And then you look at a pro, and you look at one of the best in the business. There's his toe line. Whoops. There's his toe line. And you look at where he gets to at impact. Hips cleared a lot. Shoulders also cleared. Right, not quite as much as the hips, but getting there, right? And you look at that compared to your old position, where your heel's on the ground, is square with the hips and square with the shoulders. And now because of how we're using the ground, you're more dynamic, right? Which gets you more open, and your shaft can now get out underneath your left shoulder, just like you see the pros. So that's much better, just that little drill. Excellent, mate.